Now watching Sporting Icons on YouTube. Subscribe.
Alright everyone, hope you're all doing fantastic. I know it's Monday, back on the grind, all that kind of good stuff. Nobody likes Mondays, do they? But that's why you should be subscribed to this channel if you're not already. Make sure you click it, it's free, and it makes your week go so much quicker. It really does. Now, Chris Eubank Jr., he's a guy that he has a very, very good fan base. He has a very large fan base, but he also has a lot of people who don't like him. Maybe it's because of they don't like his father originally, or they just don't like the fact that he hasn't been living up to some of the hype. Maybe it's a lot of that, or a mix of several things, who knows. But either way, Chris Eubank Jr., of course, he was saying that he wants to be fighting 3 times this year, but ultimately he's only had one fight, which was, of course, against James Degale back in February, which was a pay-per-view headliner on ITV, which was the one and only ITV show via the PBC, right? Anyway, all that aside, he says that he wants to be getting back in the ring soon, all that kind of good stuff. So I'm going to go straight into his statement, then we'll have a little chat about it. So this is what Chris Eubank Jr. had to say. I can't give you an exact date, but expect to see me back in the ring in about 2 to 3 months. The plan for this year was 3 fights, and it doesn't look like that's going to be the case now. That doesn't mean that anything hasn't changed in regard to me getting to where I want to be, but I did fully intend to have a busy 2019. The win over James Degale felt satisfying for several reasons, as it proved what I've known all along. There was many who had some doubts over me regarding my position in the sport, but I've always believed in myself, and that's the way it has always been. If people knew what I have sacrificed, then they'd understand why I put so much into every fight. This has pretty much been my life for as long as I can remember, and the work that has been put in to make sure that I become the best fighter in the world means that there can be no other way. I've been hungry for success throughout my career, and that hunger is still with me now. I see myself as the best fighter in the world, and that's because I have to. There can't be any other way. I can't go into a fight with other names that are around my weight who want to be the same as me and not believe that I'm better than them. The next few years is where I believe people are going to see the best version of me. I'm peaking at the perfect time for the best names out there, and people will see when the big fights are made. I'm probably as close to my peak as I'm ever going to be, so the next stage of my career is where I have to really step up and make my mark in the biggest fights. Chris Eubank Jr.'s statement. Okay, so he has the mindset that he's the best fighter in the world. There's nothing wrong with believing in yourself. Who knows? Ultimately, we'll decide as fans as to whether or not he was at some point. Come the end of his career, when we look back at everything that's happened, did he turn out to be the best fighter in the planet, or on the planet even? Let's wait and see. Now, as I said, he's got a very, very good, large fan base, that's for sure. Very, very loyal to Eubank. And he has a lot of people who just don't like him, can't stand him. But the thing about him is that people will tune in to watch him. People are interested to know what's going on with Chris Eubank Jr. Okay? And a lot of that is probably from his father. I think that's probably fair to say. But as I said before, people will tune in to watch regardless. Okay? People want to know what's happening with Chris Eubank Jr., who's he going to be fighting, all that kind of stuff. He's got a couple of losses on his record, as we know. Of course, Billy Joe Saunders way back when, and about a year or so ago against George Groves. But there's no great shame in losing to either of those fighters, is there? But does that mean that he's washed up, as people say, or just absolutely gash, as Prince Nassim would say? No, of course not. I mean, should he retire? No, of course not. You know, he's still young enough. He's still good enough to hang out with some of the best fighters around. But ultimately, he's a big name. And when he's a big name, he demands big money. So securing opponents ain't always easy for him. But why has he been inactive since his last fight with James Degale? I don't know, maybe just been enjoying life. We know he's bought a house recently. So maybe he's just been enjoying life, going on holidays, whatever else. Or maybe he's been injured. No idea. I know he was on that goggle box thing that my wife watches recently with his dad, with a stupendous confectionery. That kind of show. I never watched it, to be honest with you. I have no idea. I'm sure my wife probably did. But the fact is that I don't know why he's been so inactive. He's at the point of his career now where he needs to be as active as possible. We do know that at least one offer has gone through from Eddie Hearn for John Ryder. And for some reason, Chris Eubank Jr. or Senior or whoever's managing his career either knocked it back or just didn't respond. I think what Eddie Hearn was saying is that they didn't even get a response. Now, Chris Eubank Jr., he may look at John Ryder and say, but you know what, you're not a big enough name for me. But if that is the case, then he's not looking at the bigger picture. You beat John Ryder, you then become the mandatory to Callum Smith. Okay, so that's where the big fight comes in. So maybe he's not looking at the big picture, or maybe he's injured. I have no idea. Maybe he doesn't fancy John Ryder. Maybe he's not confident of beating John Ryder. Don't know. But there have been other offers going through apparently, but as to what's going to happen, no idea. He wants the biggest fights. If he wants the biggest fights, then what he should have done was took the John Ryder. Then he's guaranteed a shot at Callum Smith for a world title, as John Ryder is the mandatory currently for Callum Smith. So don't quite know why he wouldn't have taken that fight, unless he just wants to go straight in with a Triple G or a Canelo at middleweight, or he wants to go after another super middleweight. I know a couple of days ago he did say that BJ Saunders, he will get what's coming to him at some point. So who knows what's going to happen? Who knows? Maybe he's going to make an appearance on the KSI Logan Paul undercard. No idea. Maybe he's going to sign up with Matchroom and Eddie Hearn. I'm not too sure if that will happen, but of course his sister, Chris Eubank Jr.'s sister, is engaged and due to be married to Frank Smith from Matchroom as well. So maybe, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? Either way, that's what's going on. Chris Eubank Jr. says that he's expected to come back out again in the ring in about 2 or 3 months' time. But what kind of opponent is it going to be? In my opinion, if it's not going to be John Ryder and it's going to be somebody lesser than John Ryder, I really have to ask why. Either way, we'll have to wait and find out, won't we? Anyway, you drop your thoughts below about it. Click thumbs up and, of course, subscribe. And I'll catch you all on the very next video.